Hello, everybody. We're a few minutes late, so get your cameras set up, get your audio set up. And then let's start in a few seconds. If you're not set up already, make sure you have everything connected correctly. And then allow your feet to touch. Relax your tailbone, relax your shoulders, push your head top up. And then bring your hands together in the center. And then put your mind where you think your mind is into the center and feel how your body adjusts naturally. Grip your feet, feel your feet activated on the ground, and make the rest of your body relaxed. And imagine like a blade of grass or like a bamboo rooted from the ground, that the rest of your body is relaxed. You can let your shoulders relax. So all the weight is sitting on the base of the feet. Connect the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Take a deep breath. Relax. We're going to start like we always do with some breathing. So grip your feet and then lock your hips, knees, and ankles and feet so that they're not moving. And then just breathing. On the inhale, grip your feet, lift the base of the torso, activate your abdominal muscles. And then on the exhale, let everything relax. So breathing. Internally, imagine that you can bring chi, energy from the ground, all the way up, past the head top, past the fingertips, and then let everything relax. The more relaxed your body is, the more the energy can flow. So you can feel places in your feet, in your calves, in your legs. If you relax your tailbone and your lower back, you can feel the energy able to travel up through the spine and the torso. So when you sit back, when you're sitting, allow the tailbone to sink. When we're lifting on the inhale, there's not a lot of flexion. It's not gripping. Instead, it's relaxed. It's as if there's a slight tension, like a slight sense of urgency to lift, and then everything relaxes on the exhale. Same with the feet, pulling up on the arches of the feet on the inhale, and then letting the feet relax on the exhale. And just like with Tai Chi theory, the yin and yang, the little dot on one side or the other represents the exception. So we're never going to 100%. That dot represents the 1%. So when you grip your feet, we never grip to 100%. We leave them slightly back. And when we relax, we never relax 100%. The structure doesn't collapse internally. We keep 1% to keep the correct shape. So it's finding a balance, a subtle difference between too much and not enough. You can go at your own pace. We're going to do 3 more. So really relax, let your lungs fully inflate, feel your back expand. And then bring your feet back together in the center. Bring your hands together in the center. Move your mind into your center. And then breathing into your center. Let everything relax down to your feet, just like we did a second ago. Grip your feet. Push the head top up. And relax. Because I know some of you are working with shoulder issues. In Saturday's class, we have 3 people that have a shoulder issue right now. When we do this warm-up, when we do this stretch, we'll focus a little bit on the shoulders and the upper torso. So at first, let's do some turning of the head. What I want you to do is lock your shoulders in place. And then we're going to try to find 4 points. So the 4 points are if I tilt my chin forward, but I'm still pushing up through the back of my head. So try to touch your chin to your sternum, but push up through the back of your crown. Feel like you can extend your spine through your mid-back. And then come back up to the center. And then next, the opposite. We're gonna, like you're pushing up through the back of the head, top and neck. Like extending, like a giraffe reaching up to get the highest fruit, but then also tilting back. Keep your shoulders in place. Looking for the 99% extreme without pushing you too far. And then come back to the center. And what is the center? The chin is tucked and the head top is pushed up so that the back is lined up. The neck is straight. Next, I want you to turn as if you want to press your ear against your shoulder. And you should feel on the other side of your neck. Take a deep breath and then come back to the center. And then on the other side, the same, I want you to take your ear as if you're putting it to the shoulder and feel this other side of your neck open up. Keep your chin tucked and there's power going up through the back of the head. Your shoulders are relaxed and sinking with gravity. And then come back up to the center, tuck your chin, push the back of your head top up. And now when we turn the head, try to find those 4 points. So tilting all the way down, all the way to the side, looking all the way up to the other side and back to the front. So feel the position of your shoulders in space while you turn. You can use the weight of your head with gravity. So if you relax, but we maintain a little bit of control. We don't just allow it to flop around. If you let gravity do its thing, the same, we always have at least 1%. We maintain one bit of control. That way, if it starts to slide, we have the ability to bring it back. Change directions if you haven't already. And by the way, this is your workout. This is your routine. So remember to go back to the long breathing. And where it feels the best, where it feels like, oh, if I put it over in this corner, if I put it on this side, that's the place you need to focus on. We're making a full circle as a demonstration, but this is your workout, so you customize it as you need. And then come back to the center, push the back of your head top up, tuck your chin. Remember to keep the tongue connected to the roof of the mouth. And like when we practice Tai Chi Harmony, we want to have a half smile as the minimum. So next, after turning the head and neck, we'll do some shoulder rolls. And so this, I want you to see how much of your internal structure you can feel, your shoulder blades, your collarbones, the rib cage. Feel where your spine's position is connected to the ribs between the collarbones. Can you feel your sternum? The bone in the upper part of the arm is called the humerus. And so can you feel the position of the top of that bone and its position connected to the collarbone, and those 3 points in relation to the shoulder blade? Where you put your mind is where the energy goes. And this is very useful for acupuncture. This is the whole purpose of acupuncture. Where you need a treatment is where there's tension in the tendon, in that part of the body, the energy is stuck. So the acupuncturist puts a needle into that place to force your mind to go there, because where the mind goes, the energy goes. So when you put your mind into your shoulders, when you do this rolling action, remember the long breathing we started with, get back to breathing. When you put your mind in that area, the energy goes there. Change directions if you haven't already. So we can practice whether we practice slow or fast. If the alignment is correct, the wheel can turn as quickly or as slowly as needed without any risk of damage. The same thing if we understand how the structure works. It can work for a long time. So breathing deep. Let's go back to stretching out the head, neck, and shoulders. This one may be funny. The analogy that I used to use, and I don't use it because it's humorous, is like for a baby's bottle, right? At the top of a baby's bottle, they have like a rubber nipple, right? So imagine you have the base, and then the shape comes up. This, if we look at the shape of our shoulders from about where the deltoids or where the base of the collarbone is, across here, and the way that this shape comes up is about that same shape, right? It's the shape of like the top of a baby's bottle. So this is what I want you to practice doing. Imagine the top part of your body, instead of thinking about, we have all these parts, this mechanical part for a bone here, and we have a plate for the shoulder blade in the back, and we have all of these discs that line up for the spine, and this sort of knobby skull up here in the jawbone. I want you to forget all of that, and I want you to imagine that just from the shoulders up is the same as the top of a baby's bottle, and I want you to push up through the head top, as if you're extending the head top as much as you can while leaving this connected to the base of the container. So imagine that all of this, we could start to call this the clavicle and start to talk about the names of individual tendons. But instead of that, I want you just to imagine from here up is made of a rubber substance that you can push and stretch up through. So relax your shoulders. Everything down below has to stay behind, has to stay down below. And everything going up is going up. So breathing, you can use the breathing. Imagine you can expand the top of that container. You can turn left and right, but the whole time as if you're pushing up from the center. Breathing deep, take a deep breath, relax. Let's go back to shoulder rolls. So now the same thing, the other day in class, we did something where when we do shoulder rolls, we're turning even smaller circles. So imagine the movement is even smaller yet. And if you put your mind in your shoulders, now go back to adjusting your spine. Keep turning the shoulders in a small circle, but push up through the back of the head top. Let the trapezius muscles, this muscle here along the shoulder, let that relax so that when you turn those small circles, you can push up through the head top and make to moving away from the baby bottle analogy, imagine a triangle. You have 2 points, 1, 2, and 3 is the head top. Make that triangle as tall as possible so that the shoulders, the further we can sink the shoulders and the further we can bring this head top. Remember in Tai Chi, the basics, we have basic geometry, we have individual points. We can be turning the shoulders while we talk. If you haven't changed directions, change directions and resume the natural long breathing, doing the internal, lifting the base of the torso, engaging the abs, turning the shoulders, pushing up through the back of the head top. So keep the mind in the shoulders. Let your upper back relax. The triangle is important not only for our structure, but also for martial arts. We talk about individual points, acupressure points. When you take 2 points and you connect them, you have a line that forms individual lines. When you have 3 points, that forms a triangle. So the basic triangle we talk about for the arms is here. If we allow the elbows to touch and we see this triangle, another one, while you're rolling your shoulders, while you're breathing deep, another triangle is from the head top to the shoulders this way, this triangle. And so this triangle is for martial arts purposes. Some people asking, when we practice Tai Chi, where do we look? When you practice the Tai Chi form on your own, you're practicing with a group, and you're doing the individual form, you're looking to the horizon as far as you can. But when you're practicing with another person, whether you're doing a 2-person routine or whether you're playing martial arts or sparring or whether you're fighting, you want to be watching this triangle here, because it's difficult to conceal movement. Even if you can't see any movement down below, for whatever reason here in the camera, if I want to lift my leg, it's difficult to conceal that movement in this here. So when something's happening, if we have something here and we have focus on this triangle, and now that we've just done all that yin work, getting the mind there, I want you to do some turning around the center, but without any power. I just want you to push up through your head top and relax your tailbone. So as if your center line is an axle from the head top to your tailbone, and that you want to make that axle as long as possible, and just by pulling on your abs. So I pull one side and it turns and comes back to the center, and then I pull the other side. My arms are just along for the ride. So by turning my center, the arms go on their own. Completely relax your arms as if they're cooked noodles, like a cooked spaghetti, or you have ramen or some udon, and it's completely relaxed. This is pushing up through the head top, letting the tailbone relax, gently rocking your spine back and forth. Feel your shoulder blades and let your arms and shoulders relax more. So with every turn, they can sink. Keep turning, the long breathing, pushing up through the head top. This is learning to stretch out your upper torso. A lot of times people practicing a yoga, they want to stretch and find out where the extents, how far their arm can stretch. But we need to think about the spine the same way, being able to push up through the back of the head top to stretch. So after we do this kind of turning, let's turn around the waist just a little bit. Again, the same thing. You can make it a much larger circle, or you can make it smaller. Try to keep your head and neck straight while you do this exercise, as if you have 2 parts. The upper part and the lower part are turning. Remember to breathe, and remember to do the internal work while you breathe, lifting the base of the torso, strengthening the abs, strengthening the lower abdominals, the pelvic floor. You can activate your tailbone when you do that breathing as well. Change directions if you haven't already. Remember the long, relaxed breathing that we started with. Come back to the center. Take a second to warm up your hands. This is an exercise both in Qigong. We're going to use the Qigong to help prepare the knees for the work. So warm up your hands. And when you feel the heat, I want you to practice transferring the heat from your hands to the knees. Feel all of the tissues. Use the whole surface of the hand. You should feel your knees get warm. You can imagine relaxing them so that more of the energy can transfer. And then when they're relaxed, it's a weird sensation pushing the kneecaps downwards towards the feet. Relax your tailbone. You can practice gripping your toes and relaxing your toes to feel how that affects the tendons around the knees. And then standing up straight. For the ankle, we're going to practice a little bit of balance. So push the ankle forward and lift the heel. And then flatten the foot. And then we're going to push it directly out to the side. So if we're looking from the front, I want to try to keep this leg flat and keep the foot parallel to the floor. And then lift the toe. And then flatten it again. And then push it straight back. So if we're looking from here, the same thing, I want to try to keep it flat to the floor. Above the floor, it's not sitting on the floor. Here you can't lift the toe. It's already lifted. And then come back to the center. We're going to do the same on the other side. So grip the foot, push this foot forward. We're also making a triangle, front, side, and back, right? So the same thing, we just got done talking about triangle. Push it forward, and then turn the toe up, and then flatten the foot again. It's only a centimeter to an inch off the ground if you can keep it there. Don't let this hip slide out. Grip the foot, sitting back on the tailbone, and then lift the toe, and then pushing straight back. Bring it back to the center and relax. Interesting note about triangles in Chinese culture. The ancient Chinese astronomers actually used a triangle to define orbital paths. A triangle, by changing where the points remain, can actually give you a far more detailed shape than a circle. You can make a perfect circle with a triangle. If you have an equilateral triangle and you put a circle inside of it, it can become perfect. But they knew that our planet's orbits were not perfect. And so they could take the triangle and skew it in one way to make sort of an egg shape that would match a far more accurate model than what we had. So sometimes we use a triangle to define the circle. This is, at least in Chinese martial arts, Chinese culture. So what do we want to work on today? Let's look at a few things. What's happening with the upper body and what's happening with the lower body. In the upper body, in Tai Chi, we want to have a rounded shape. So in addition to having the spine straight, we've been talking about keeping the spine straight at all times. And in addition to that, we want to have this rounded shape in the front. The other day I picked up the yoga ball. It's a very funny idea. This is too large of a circle, but it's funny, right? So it looks like we're carrying this thing. By the way, this is, if you have to carry something very heavy, one time I asked my teacher, I said, what do you think about these people in Africa? Because we're so focused on structure. When I would see something, I said, what do you think about these people in Africa? And they carry a big thing on top of their head. For many miles, they have to carry a water basket, right? They must have good balance. Is that a good idea? Because if we have a perfect center line, maybe we can carry the weight there. And he said, I don't know about that, because he's not familiar with that training. So I said, then where do we carry something very heavy? He said, close to your center. If you have to carry something very heavy, right, keep it close to your center. It looks funny, right? Carry a big yoga ball. But if I'm holding this shape here, and because the yoga ball is made of rubber and my hands stick to the surface, I can actually relax my arms. In fact, I can set it almost on top and it keeps it there in place. Either way, wherever they're at. Now, gotta relax my shoulders actually a little bit. So you see this kind of adjustment. This circular shape, like we're holding the ball. And so in the beginning, we practiced Tai Chi Harmony. We practiced developing the straight line, the center line. Some schools, some teachers make the students standing for a long time in this posture. Maybe not this particular one, they stand in a Wuji posture, right? This is to cultivate the straight center line. Here we can find this same circular shape by leaving the wrists, elbows, and shoulders relaxed. There should be an open space, a hollow space in the elbows and the shoulders right here. In the Tai Chi classics, it says when you're standing, even if you're standing this one or this one, there should be space as if a robin's egg can sit in the crux of the armpit. So you should feel that hollow expansion in your chest and in the inside of your shoulders for the alignment. So once we have that straight line, we want to think about expanding it into this circular shape. Some schools teaching a standing meditation like this, it's slightly more comfortable if you make your feet parallel. Again, my camera has a very narrow angle, so you can see the shape of the carpet goes up into perspective. I can turn my feet in so you get a better idea, but we don't want them out. We want them to be, if you look down at your feet, make them parallel, relax your tailbone, and then straighten the spine so that it's accurate, lined up, relax your tailbone, and then as if you're holding something, beach ball, yoga ball. You can imagine a tree, a pillar, some type of can or cylinder. Grip your feet, relax your tailbone. And so if you relax your shoulders, you may feel the weight of your arms on the back of your head and neck as if this is pulling upwards. Grip your feet. Remember the same long breathing that we started with. So now we have a structure. We have a head top. We have the spine is straight, and we have this round shape. And we're going to practice moving it a little bit. So we're going to move from the center as if all the movement is originated from the center. We're going to turn to the left and raise one hand, and then just turn to the right and raise the other. And so we're going to change back and forth doing this. And eventually I want you to start circling your hands. They're staying in front of your torso. The center is turning first, the hand is following. And I want you to feel the space. I don't want you to feel your arms or your wrist. I want you to feel the space between your arms and your body. And imagine that you can keep that space, that the chi can fill that space. And it's actually what supports your arms and is what keeps that shape round. So breathing, shifting from one foot to the other foot. Very small movement. Relax your shoulders. Push up through the back of your head top. Sink into your feet. Almost as if you're going through a door and you want to keep this, you have something, maybe you're holding a bag of groceries when you push through the doorway this way. The same thing. But it's so relaxed. Your arms, they have the right shape, but they're so soft. And they can maintain that shape, even though it's so relaxed, to push through the door, to push something open, to push something away. Relax your shoulders, relax your arms. You feel power going to your fingertips, and feel the negative space in your elbow, on the inside of your elbow, on the inside of your wrist, under your armpit, supporting your arm. Breathing deep. And this becomes a cloud hands type exercise, or we say silk reeling. Now we can add turning of the forearms, but I want you to have the same relaxed shoulders. Have the same feeling of the hollowness, the empty space inside your frame. Even on the inside of your body is hollow. So when you breathe, you fill the whole body with air. And then the most important part of all of this, we have straight line, we have a circle, right? For those of you that know Chinese language, Mandarin language, they have the symbol. It looks like this, right? So we can think of this when we practice Tai Chi. This character is Zhong, it means center, right? And it's actually the name of their country, is Zhongguo. So we can use this shape. We have a center line, and we have this circle here, or we can think of it as the square base. Either way. And that's what we're going to work on next, is connecting the upper body and the lower body. So far, we've just been maybe shifting weight from one side to another, but we're going to go back to the X-stepping exercise. So find a place that's your center. And we're going to practice quite a bit of this. So I don't want your spine to melt. When you sit in the office, when you sit at the desk for many hours, because we're in quarantine, we're watching movies and sitting around so much on the couch, in the office chair, in front of the computer, in the bed, watching movies. This same thing, the body is melting. So we need to keep power going all the way to the top. So when we practice this X-stepping, I want you to maintain your head top and relax your tailbone. So gripping the feet, step back to the corner, shoulder width wide, and then simply return. We're going to practice an evolution of X-stepping. So the very basic is just stepping. You can even slide your foot and then shift and slide it back before we even get into stepping to the corner, and then center, and slide and shift, and slide and then slide and shift, center, forward, center, back, center. And now when we go, the same thing, push up, relax the tailbone. Try to keep your hips in the same level, stepping to the corner, and then bring the other foot, stepping again. And then step to the center, grip your foot, use your abs, bring your other foot, grip the ground, change, step, relax your tailbone. Also remember, we're breathing deep. So step to the center, grip the foot, engage your abs, make the whole body grip to the ground. Grip, step forward, activate your foot, lift the floor, the pelvic floor, breathing deep, center. Grip the ground. Make everything so stable. Grip, there's no wobbling, we're not turning right now. Center. And so now just a natural step without so much focus on gripping, just like you're walking, grip, center, make it natural, grip, relax your tailbone, center, grip, center, grip, center, just natural pace. Next, we're going to practice some balancing. We're going to do it 2 times without really talking about it too much, and then we're going to come back and talk about ways to improve the balance, the focus. So from the center, when you step back to the corner, grip the ground and practice Jin Ji Du Li. And then return to the center. When we step forward, shoulder width wide, shoulder width deep, practice Jin Ji Du Li. And then return back to the center. And when we step forward, the feet are lined up as if on grid paper. So they're always pointing north-south. Stepping to the corner, the feet lined up with my carpet. Jin Ji Du Li. So now let's do that again, another round. Step back. Forward. Center. Forward. Back. Let's try to see if we can improve the balance a little bit. This time when we do this same exercise, I want you to focus on 3 things. We've talked about this before, but it will help to repeat. The bottom, the middle, and the top. And so for the bottom, we want to activate the feet as if your feet are magnets. When they connect, they stick to the ground. So gripping your feet, make the arch, and energetically we say where the mind is, the chi is. So if you put your mind in the center, in the bottom of your foot, the bottom layer, as if you have a sport cushion underneath the sole of your foot, the chi will fill up the bottom of your foot and connect to the earth's chi as well. Then the middle, what's happening in the middle? I'm wearing a loose jacket, so maybe it's difficult to see, but a lot of times when we try to balance, we have the tailbones doing something weird, and we want to keep it sunk and in the right place. So by almost as if you're going to sit, as if there's something here, and you can just put just the edge of your butt right on it. The same thing when we're practicing Jinji Duli, as if you're going to just sit the edge of your glutes onto the edge of the bench or the something. And by the way, when we're practicing this leg we want to be at 90 degrees because we want the toe pointed towards the ground for Jinji Duli, this one. This hand can be in a whole number of different positions. Same thing with this one, can point here, forward, turn, can be out in. Many ideas, practice to what feels good for you. Top, we said, bottom, grip the feet, middle, sink the tailbone like you're sitting. Make it easy for yourself to balance on the lower half. And then the top, if the neck is straight, the straighter something it is, the easier it is to balance. And then where you look. So look at something stable. If you look at and it's something wobbling, it will be difficult focus. Even indoors, we can see a wall. Very stable. So now continuing to improve the balance, when we step to the corner, grip the ground, sit the tailbone and look at something stable. Breathing deep, return to the center. It's much easier, grip the ground, sink the tailbone, look at something stable, relax your shoulders. Breathing deep, come back to the center. Step forward, grip the ground, relax your tailbone, look at something stable. Relax your shoulders, center. Another corner, step back, grip, relax your tailbone. You're sitting, raise the leg, correct posture, grip. Take a deep breath, coordinate it with the breathing. Center. Once we step, inhaling, and then exhaling, using the last part of the exhale to return. When we step to the corner, inhaling to expand, gripping the ground, sit the tailbone, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You can practice this kind of exercise for a while. What I'm trying to work on here is a few things. One is strengthening the legs. By doing this kind of X-stepping continuously, we can generate a sort of strength in the hips and the qua. In Mandarin, there's a word for this area here called the qua. So we can make that very strong, connected to our center and through the toes. And then also, by strengthening the legs, we can find where there's weakness in the feet, in the toes, in the ankles, in the knees. Some of us, we already know where we have weaknesses in these areas, and this kind of X-stepping will actually help to strengthen in the correct way. So, continuing forward, we had talked about, now when we step back and we do Jinji Duli, I want you to add one more detail. This is when we get to the corner, we want to practice movement. So for every corner, we're going to add something new. This is an extension of Jinji Duli, which is a press and a push with the foot kick, right? So increasing the balance when we step to the corner, instead of just maintaining balance, now we have to balance and move so that there's something happening, so that this leg has to be really strong enough to support movement on top of the structure. So from the center, now when we step back to the corner, grip the ground. When you lift, press the palm of the foot forward, then let them return, stand back to the center. Breathing deep, grip the ground. Jinji Duli, and then press and kick, return to the center, stepping forward, breathing deep, grip the ground, maintain your balance, sink, power, return. Stepping back to the corner, breathing deep. Center. So I'll do some of these from the side so that you can get some idea of what's happening. When I step back to the corner, this side scoops for Jinchi Duli, and then whether I use a heel kick and press, or whether I use a toe kick and shoot my fingers forward to attack the face, either way, however you like to do it, however it feels comfortable, there should be some power. And maintain the balance, and then we return back to the center. And then breathing deep, stepping forward, grip the ground. Kick forward. Come back to the center. Use your whole body, step to the corner. Twisting through the torso, balance, make some movement, return to the center, grip the ground. We're trying to cultivate the power in the legs to be able to maintain the balance and make some kind of movement, some power, return to the center. Let's do one more. Breathing. Sit the tailbone, relax your shoulders. Center. Stepping forward, breathe. Sink. Looking at something stable. Stepping forward. Grip the ground. Balance. Remember to breathe. Inhale. So the idea is we have a structure. We start in Tai Chi Harmony. We start with a point, the point on the top of the head going up. And then we add a second point, which is the polar opposite, yin and yang. These 2 points are the basis for the Tai Chi structure. We add the circle on the top and the square on the bottom. And we need the base, the square base, to be strong enough to support. So when we're doing different postures, we can do them correctly. There's no false step in Yang style. Questions, thoughts, comments before we continue, because we're just going to do some more X-stepping. We have about 15 minutes. It's about 8:15 right now. So this class is just going to be X-stepping. We're actually not going to do any of the Tai Chi form in this class. So let's continue. And let's actually go back to something we were doing earlier. If we allow the feet to be here, and we're just turning. Relax your shoulders and push up through the back of your neck. And I want this to be relaxed. Sometimes when we do this, we make this really big. I don't want you to do that right now, because we're trying to protect the shoulders. We're trying to make a more yin, a softer, more relaxed movement. We say softer, but it can actually be more powerful for the healing process just by turning soft. And so we're going to tie the same movement in with the X step to feel some of the movement, some of the flow with the Tai Chi. So from the center, when we step back to the corner, I just want you to let your arms completely relax. Instead of winding them up to do some Jinchi Duli, making this kind of energetic circle, this time the energetic circle is going around the waist, and as if the arms are they're well oiled, right? So the joints are completely relaxed and open. You can feel the weight of your hands, feel how heavy your forearm is, feel how heavy your bicep and your shoulders are. So the same thing when we step back to the corner is turning. And then when we step forward, we have a half turn, and then forward and back. Let's go through slow so that we can practice accurately. So when we step back, it's opposite hand and foot. And then when we step forward, it's also opposite hand and foot. And then there's a half turn, just like this in the middle. There's no foot stepping. And then when we step forward, it's opposite hand and foot. And then the same when we step back, grip your feet, relax your tailbone. Remember to breathe. So we'll do 3 to each corner and then 3 in the center. And then we'll go back to just doing 1. So step back, 1, breathing, 2, 3, center change, 1, 2, 3, center, 1, 2, 3, step, 1, 2, 3, change other corner, 1, 2, 3, change center, 1, 2, step back, 1, 2, 3, change, 1, 2, 3, in the center, 1, 2, step forward, 1, 2, 3, step back, 1, 2, 3, center. We would change more, but we're going to take a break because next time, this next round, we're going to do it just stepping to the corner back. By the way, this is also based, we're talking about the square, so if you've seen the video, we're working from the grid. If you feel that you want to make your step larger, you can do that. We can talk more about that either later today or in another class. So now just going 1 time to each corner. So when we step back, the arms cross, step forward. In the center is a half turn, step forward, back, half turn, back, forward, half turn, forward, back, center. Now I want you to think about your spine. Push up through the back of your head, sitting back through the tailbone, and then breathing. The straighter that line is, the more relaxed you can make your hips and shoulders. You can grip your feet, so like your body is moving from one piece, from the toes up through the head top. Half turn, back, breathing. Straighten the spine. We can use the same balance techniques. Relax the tailbone. Half turn, back, forward, half turn, forward, back, back, forward. Let's take a break for a second because I want to emphasize one thing. In Tai Chi, every Tai Chi posture, we talk about Tai Chi principles. So one thing I want to add to this X stepping is turning of the waist. And we don't have to make it a huge deal or very pronounced. You should feel it naturally with this cross-body kind of movement if the spine is straight. But one of the Tai Chi principles is very important, is there's at least 1 waist turn in every Tai Chi posture, and a lot of times 2, meaning it turns one direction and it turns the other. Sometimes it may turn to 1. It may turn from one side to the other side. It may make a circle, something like this. But we want to have this turning of the waist. And what do we mean by waist? Is this is if the top of my hips are here and the base of my rib cage is here, is turning around that section here, right? We should be able to feel that. So now when we go back to the X stepping, so that we're not just, so it's not just my arms, like a action figure or a child's toy or doll that has a visible seam here. The arms aren't just moving. This is, the whole torso is turning. I may keep my face turning and facing forward in the direction I like to move, but the waist should turn. So every Tai Chi posture, grasp the sparrow's tail, turning to catch, ward off, the power from ward off, all coming from the center moving. We have this large structure around which to turn. Let's continue with X-stepping. So from your center, stepping back, forward. Turn the waist, breathe deep. You can go at your own pace if it feels easier to go slower. If you feel like you can let everything relax more, you can create a condition in your mind that's different. So if you slow down, you can imagine that your body is very heavy and that weight allows it to stretch the tendons in your neck and your shoulders, as if your body is moving through molasses, some different type of structure. Or you can move faster. You can move slow and fast at the same time. Imagine that your body is so lightweight. Your arms are made of something like carbon fiber. And so as you move, it moves through space so freely. So even a small amount of energy turning at the center activates the whole structure very vividly. Remember to breathe. One more. In that center. Questions, thoughts, comments? Okay, we're going to close. It's about 25 after. There's about 5 minutes left in class. So whatever we end up doing next will be the thing. Before we do some Qigong, some breathing, a lot of oxygen to finish up, let's actually do something we did the other day, which is standing in Tai Chi Harmony. Allow your feet and legs to touch. Bring the hands together in the center, push up through the back of the head top. And then let's review the calibration. These calibration ideas, these Tai Chi principles should be in every Tai Chi posture and should be in every piece of yoga that we do. So let's review from the head top. There's power in the crown chakra. The head top is going up. Your brow is relaxed. We shouldn't strain the brow or have different facial expressions. As funny as they may be, we want it to be relaxed. Open the vision, so open your eyes a little more and see 180 degrees, a panorama from one side to the other, taking the whole scene. Open your nostrils and relax the front of your face so you can breathe. Half smile is the minimum. You can have more than that if you like. Connect the tongue to the upper palate in the correct place. There's a number of placements behind the teeth, so find the place where you can keep it relaxed and upright. The back of the neck is straight. Ears are lined up with the shoulders. Shoulders are rolled back and relaxed, and the chest is hollow. We said there's a space in the armpits at the minimum. We feel the inside of the elbows, the space, the negative space that we had explored earlier by keeping the round shape is present. Feel the energy in the palms. The center is supporting. We're lifting the pelvic floor and the tailbone is relaxed. Insides of the hips are folding in. The knees are bent, they're not straight. We want to have them with a slight bend. The ankles should feel expanded with power. Grip the toes, activate the arch in the foot, pull the heel forward. Make a connection between your toes and your tailbone, so as you grip your toes, your tailbone can sink more. And then internally, we want to feel the chi is distributed evenly. So imagine your body is like a sponge, and when you add water to the sponge from one end, you want it to expand throughout the whole structure. So when you breathe, imagine you can expand all parts of the sponge, all parts of your body. Another way to think of it is if your body is hollow. And then we're going to add one more thing. So now that we have this nice expanded, inflated shape, grip the feet, just turning the upper body. Lock your hips towards the camera if you're facing forward. Turn your back, your mid back, your upper back. Keep the palms in front of the sternum. Turn your shoulders, turn your neck and head. Keep your chin tucked. Use your eyes to lead, and then use your intention to lead all of that even further. Remember to breathe, come back to the center. The other side, breathing deep. Lock your hips. Turn your lower back, mid back, upper back, shoulders, neck, upper neck, head, eyes. Use your intention to go further. Keep your hands locked, breathing. Come back to the center on your own. We're going to do one more in each direction. Grip your feet. Turning, lower back, mid back, shoulders, neck, head, eyes, mind, spirit goes even further, breathing deep, come back to the center. Take a deep breath. We're going to do the other side. Turn your back, mid back, upper back, like a spiral going up, becoming tighter. Don't turn your hips. Remember to breathe to increase the stretch. Use your eyes to lead, your intention to lead. Come back to the center. Take a deep breath and relax. Let's close with some Qigong. We'll do two. We'll start with the teacup exercises. I can mirror you. So reaching forward and turning. Keep the palm flat to the sky or to the ceiling the whole time. Scooping back through center. Grip the feet, relax your tailbone, breathing, inhaling all the way up to the top and exhaling all the way down and out to the bottom. Remember, like gasoline in your car, it's okay to fill all the way to the top, but we never want to run out of gas at the bottom. So we're never, in this type of Qigong, there may be other styles of Qigong, other types of breathing exercises where we want to fully exhaust the lungs. In this one, we want to keep a small percentage of air. We never run out, and we can top up if we like. So breathing deep, let everything relax. Inhale up, exhale out. Long breathing, keep your spine straight. You can shift from side to side, and you can turn the waist as well. These are the ways to keep the palm flat to the sky. Try to keep your shoulders and elbows relaxed. One more, and this is actually, we have 3 after this one, and then we'll change. 2 more, 1 on each side. Breathing deep. Inhale all the way up. Grip your feet, relax your tailbone. Relax your shoulders the whole time. Feel the weight of gravity. And now let's do some backwards. So this one coming out, around, up, and return. Breathing, inhale, up, and return. Inhale. One more on each side, going backwards direction. And then let's do some of these. So breathing, keep your spine straight, turning all the way around the center. This is, the waist turn is important. Keep the feet, knees, ankles, and hips locked in one direction. Long breathing, locking the front and bottom of the torso, expanding the back and neck with the breathing. Check to see if you have a very serious expression on your face. Remember, with Qigong, we want to have some meditation in the mind. I'm not one for recommending ego projection into this realm. So a lot of times I recommend gratitude. At the very basic, the half smile, the long breathing, turning around the spine. I'm also not counting or keeping track. So on this next one, we're going to change directions. If you're OCD, you're going to have to take a deep breath. And then now on this side, changing, inhaling up, turning, and exhaling. We can be thinking of the same thing, pulling energy up through the feet, legs, torso to the head top. And then exhale, let everything expand to all parts. Breathing deep, pull the earth chi up and allow the cosmic chi to sink. Long breathing. Turning around the center. Lift the pelvic floor as if to pump energy to the top. Pull energy through the feet from the base. Relax your tailbone so the energy can travel all the way up the spine to the head top. We're going to do 2 more in this direction, so make it the most relaxed breathing of the day. And on the next one, this last one, just go to the center. Let the hands float. Feel as if the air underneath is enough to support them. Relax your shoulders, relax your tailbone, relax your feet. And then bring your feet together in the center. Line everything up in the center. In Tai Chi meditation, we never close the eyes 100%, just like we said, while we're practicing Tai Chi, never reaching the extreme. So at least leaving the eyes open 1%. Close your eyes. Move your consciousness into the center of your body, and your body will auto-calibrate. You'll find the new alignment with gravity. So take a second and give at least a half smile to your center. Breathing deep, take a deep breath as an offering to your center. Smiling to yourself internally, you can say it quietly, you can shout it out loud, you can read from a spreadsheet all of the reasons and lists of things that you like about yourself, giving thanks to yourself, breathing to your center, smiling to yourself. Take one long last deep breath, and that's it. If you have questions, comments, we're actually a few minutes past time. It's actually, we started a little bit late, so we're finishing a little bit late. If you have questions, comments, call me, text me, email me. Have a great week.